Guys, very proud to present Dan Locke in a Kennedy blue suit. This is a suit with a lot of history. This is a presidential color. This is the color of that your CEO or your sensei wears. But what an opportunity to tell you with such a presidential suit, just how presidentially we make our garments. Let me tell you guys a quick story. So in the past, all suits were made by pressing a canvas together of 4 layers, including real horsehair, pressing it together at about 3 metric tons and something like 200 degrees Celsius with lots of steam to press that chest piece into place. So the more you wear the suit with a chest piece that's made with steam, the more that suit would fit you. But what tailors have started to do over the years, especially in mass production, is they've started to take that chest piece after it was pressed, and then they would bake it in an oven to get the shape in place. So the more you wear your suit, the less it fits. Well, at LGFG Fashion House, we said no to that. So we still make our chest pieces the traditional way. We hang them dry for 24 hours in a room controlled for a perfect 8% humidity. But we have a problem. And the problem is that in order to control humidity, you can't have air conditioning in the building. It messes the process up. So you need a single-story building in order to not have to air condition the building. And all of England was bombed in World War II. There's no more single-story buildings where suits are made. So we make our chest pieces in Italy, in northern Italy, which escaped bombing during the war, so we can still hang dry our chest pieces at a perfect 8 degrees Celsius. And we still use real horsehair in the canvas.
Wow. Well,
So-
you get what you pay for.
So when you're talking about a traditional suit that has been made the same way for the last 200 years, we have maintained the integrity, which is why on our wholesale end, we are one of the preferred suppliers on Savile Row. For many years, our manufacturer, which we bought out in 2022, has been the premier supplier, the secret behind the tailor, supplying Savile Row. It's very important. Now, this suit specifically, let's talk about this is an Iron Man. No, this is a Marvel suit.
That's right.
Dan, let's see the lining on that thing. That's amazing.
Check this out.
So this suit has Marvel in it, and it's got like Tony Stark and all the different Marvel characters in it. Look, how amazing is that? And guys, when you're customizing a suit, it's so important. It's so important that if you have a suit that's a classic, like a blue, you want to do something really personal inside the suit so you still know it's you. But Dan is going to tell us what this suit means to him.
Well, as we share in the previous video, right, about I'm a big fan of Marvel. So besides the Iron Man velvet suit, we want to make something. Hey, what if we make something like kind of the Avengers suit? And what color would we choose? Well, we think about, well, Avengers, Captain America, and that's why we choose this blue, right, which is kind of represents America.
Well,
right?
you know why Captain America wears this blue?
Yeah, of course.
Because it's the presidential color. It's not a joke, guys. Kennedy blue is named after JFK. Captain America has the color of the presidential suit.
That's right. That's right. And an American flag color.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Now, let's talk a little bit about sales. Okay, one of the questions that I like to ask when I interview salespeople is I'll say, what's your superpower? Have you thought about it? That's a great question. So Dan, let me ask you, I'm going to put you on the spot. This is not prepared. What's your superpower?
I think being able to listen at a very, very deep level and listen with intent. Not my ability to talk. There are a lot of great talkers, but they're not great salespeople. The way that I teach is a great closers should do 20% of the talking and then 80% of listening. Because I always say the greatest closer in this world is your prospect, not you. Because when we say something, it means one thing. When your prospect says something, it means everything. So it's important to ask the good questions, strategic questions, and then let them come up with the conclusions that they want to buy versus us shuffling the ideas of, hey, here's why you should buy my product. No, don't focus on that. Focus on asking good questions. Let them close themselves.
That is going back to philosophy, Socratic selling.
That's exactly
selling.
what I do, what I teach.
Yeah, and Socratic selling is so important because, if you look at it from a psychological perspective, you believe a very small percentage of what people tell you, but you believe everything you tell yourself.
That's right.
This actually comes back into self-talk. How important is self-talk to you as a salesperson?
Very, very important. When, as a salesperson, we get rejected day in and day out, and we face rejections every day. And it's very easy to beat ourselves up. Oh, maybe the product's not good. Maybe the service not good. Maybe the prospect is not good. The list is not good.
The economy.
Yeah, maybe I'm not cut out for this. Maybe no one is buying suits.
Right.
Maybe no one likes suits anymore. Well, you've got those kind of beliefs, that kind of self-talk, you're not going to close anything. But versus if you have a strong belief, and here's what I believe, if you have very strong conviction about your product and service, then you are morally obligated to sell as much as you can. And that means using everything within your power, within your toolbox, to influence, persuade the prospect to buy.
Now, when you talk about strong conviction, when I was starting out in sales, the number one sales lady in our company, she was incredible. She had the company record. She taught me something. She said, a great salesperson sells themselves first. So she told me that my number one job was not to sell the prospect on the product. I had to sell myself. So I bought myself the product we were selling. I paid for it. And I sat at home and I studied it. And I'm like, how can a person use this? How can this be beneficial? And over time, I sold myself that I was so excited about my product that energy transferred to the client. A great salesperson sells themselves first.
Yes, and we have to become a product of the product first. Because when you have conviction, you transfer the conviction to the prospect. It's like maybe I'm not saying exactly the perfect thing. I'm not following the script exactly. But if you have so much conviction when you're closing, the prospect is like, this guy's got so much conviction. Maybe there's something here. Maybe I should look into this. Maybe I should buy this. That is extremely powerful. Here's my belief though. When I sell something, people are curious. What's my belief? Here's my belief. I'm going to sell the prospect something they don't even know they need it yet. And by the time I'm done, they're going to say thank you. That's my conviction.
I agree.
Right?
Yeah.
So because sometimes they don't know what is best. They don't even know they need my product, they need my service, but I'm going to sell them something. And by the time I'm done, they're going to be grateful that I closed that deal.
So that's amazing. So when we're talking about Marvel, Dan's superpower is Socratic listening. That's that's the infinity stone you have, Socratic listening.
This is exactly it.
When I started out in sales, I struggled, like many salespeople struggle, and I have lots of stories about that. But I figured out that my superpower was incredible grit. It didn't matter how many phone calls I made or how many doors I knocked on, I always came back for more. And now when I interview salespeople, I ask, what's your superpower? If they say grit, if they say good listener, if they say, I really like talking and making friends, I know they're not going to be a good salesperson because I'm thinking like, well, if you're used to making friends easily, you're not going to make friends easily in sales. You need to learn to shut the hell up and listen. You need to learn how to grind and not give up. So that's a great superpower. And I know I'm talking to a real salesman when they say Socratic listening. I'm like, he's been doing this for a while. Let's talk about the wardrobe. Blue suits, guys. Okay, so blue suit, the first suit you need to own in your wardrobe is blue. Here's why. When you're opening a sales meeting, blue is a very neutral, non-offensive, generally non-standout color. And that's very important because when you're opening a sales interaction with a prospect, you don't want to take a position of something he will love or hate. You want to take a position of neutrality to be able to open up the prospect to get them to talk about what it is that the prospect wants to talk about. Here's a great line. An old sensei taught me back in the day. He said, "You are so loud, I can't hear what you're saying." And that gave me a lot of conviction that my first suit should be blue, and so should yours. Blue suits are excellent for every occasion. Let's talk about some occasions to wear a blue suit. Number one, can you wear a blue suit to the office? Yes.
Yes.
Can you wear a blue suit to a wedding? Yes. Can you open a blue suit to a new sales meeting? Yes. Can you wear a blue suit when you're seeing an old client? Yes. Is there anything you cannot wear a blue suit for? No. You can wear a blue suit to everything, and here's the best part about a blue suit and why it should be your first in your wardrobe. It goes with every single shirt and shoe. Can you wear brown shoes with a blue suit? Yes. Can you wear black shoes? Yes. Can you wear boat shoes? Yes. Can you wear white shirts, pink shirts, blue shirts, purple shirts? Yes, 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 and yes. Blue suit is the number one suit of a high-ticket closer.
Everyone should have a blue suit. More than one, actually.
And in terms of sales, actually, one last question about this. So in terms of sales, so Dan, an interesting question for you. So if we're talking about Socratic listening and Socratic selling as a way to sell a lot, if grit, that was my superpower.
Yes.
When you're hiring a salesperson, what are some other superpowers that you look for?
You mentioned grit, I think listening. I look at a lot of guys that I hire, they need to be coachable.
Malleability. You need to be like, what's that what's a shape-shifting superhero? We need one of those.
Yeah, because it takes more effort to unlearn something versus to learn something. So same thing with you, new guys coming in, new salespeople coming in. If they have had a lot of experience. I notice when I teach them high ticket closing, which is different from sales, it's not just sales, that if they come in with a lot of habits, I got to undo a lot of those habits in order to teach them new way of example. They think, oh, let me get super excited. Let me have a lot of enthusiasm.
And you're like, whoa,
you don't do that. Or let me talk about features and benefits. Well, we don't do that either. So now, but whenever they get resistance from the prospect, they start talking too much versus shut up and listen. So I found that very difficult. So versus if they're coachable, I almost prefer they almost don't know too much about closing.
100% agree.
I can train them. I can train them.
100%. I hate it when people come in and they're looking for a new sales job, and I'll say, what happened here? Well, the market was bad. And here's the question. So you're telling me that you are not in that field anymore because the market was bad? They're like, yes. Are there other people still in the market? Yes. Do you see what's going on there? Is there a little friction with that information? They're like, well, it's not. And I'm like, let me ask you for a second. Are you okay? Are you okay if I were to just for a second make you believe that maybe you just weren't that good at selling? Would you just for a second believe that?
Yeah.
And if they're like, no, it wasn't me, I'm like, I know I'm not hiring this guy because he will never learn. Because what you did didn't work. You have to be coachable.
No. And I always like to test them. I'll grab something, it doesn't matter, something from the office, or if I'm interviewing them, I say, sell me this. If the minute they pick up something, let's say a glass of water, a pad or a computer, and they started talking about, let me tell you about this computer.
Right, then you know it's wrong.
No.
Yeah.
No. If they ask me a question, I know I've got something.
Have you ever had somebody that you actually said, sell me this computer?
Yeah, tell me this computer, sell me this glass, sell me this pad, sell me this something. I just pick some random item.
Here's what I would do with a computer. Tell me what you would think. This is going to be we didn't prepare this.
Yes.
I would take your laptop and I would just walk up without saying a word and walk out of your office. And I'll say, you have my number.
That's pretty good. That's takeaway selling.
Right. Well, hey, if you want your computer back, you better call me and buy it.
Takeaway selling. That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Hey, sometimes being bold. Which is worse, being too bold or being not bold enough?
But most people, they're not bold enough anyway.
Yeah. I tell people in sales all the time, practice doing the things your mother told you not to do. Point, talk to strangers, speak loud. When you walk into a house, my mom used to say, if they offer you some food, say no. When I walk into an office and they say, would you like a coffee? I'm like, latte with milk, please, on the side. And sometimes I don't even drink the damn milk. I just leave it out there.
I like it. I like it.